Thompson. That was when the athletic field was dedicated for Walter J. Thompson Field.
Yes. It's now something else, but
No, go ahead.
I can't even remember what it's called, but that's all right. Lakewood Stadium.
Is it called Lakewood Stadium?
Harry B. Lang.
Oh, yes. Harry B. Lang.
Oh, they changed from Harry Lang. And that is an aerial view of Clover Park High School.
Leading the prairie is.
Oh.
That's 111th Street. It comes right out. That year. Oh.
And then that was Big Bradley Lake in front, right?
Yes, right below.
What year?
Oh, 1950.
Yeah, about there. Good slides,
Well, this is one of her many honors.
Yeah, this is when she was honored again. I don't know what honor this was, but. And that's Clover Park High School too. And another group being proud of their high school. And there's Old Park Lodge. I think that was just before it was being raised, is that right?
No, this is a picture when it's probably taken in the summertime.
Oh, yes. And this is in front of the junior high school, Alice Mann Junior High School. That's Ola Hegnes and Mother and Boy Bell and Gray.
Harry Lang.
Harry Lang, yeah. In her office. And that was just after she retired.
Quite a lady. And that handsome gentleman.
That's all I think was there. That's where it was going to be to be raised. That's the end of Park Lodge School. And that's after she retired.
Just a little
Now we're
reminder.
back to the original.
Just a reminder of what we've seen.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
With my face, you do.
All right. Am I connected to anything here?
If you can't, I'll use the mic. I'd like to introduce a couple of friends.
Yes, I want
Mine?
you to. I want you to.
And Mrs. Vance, former principal in the school. Carl, would you stand? Carl Bimble. Beautiful Ingrid Bimble. Yeah. Bill Cable. Does she know everybody?
I first met this gentleman in 1949. I was a young greenhorn just getting out of college, and I came to Clover Park to interview for a job. Okay, and that shot of Clover Park High School with 112s with no houses or anything I wandered my way down, and those fir trees on the right, as you saw the picture there, is where I parked, went into this office, the end of the high school, and Oli was busy at that time, but one Marion Opwell interviewed me. And I said, that's very nice, and we went up to Auburn and took the job up there for $70 a year more than Clover Park could offer. But I was back here in 1960.
We ran a tight ship and we didn't charge, we didn't pay more than. You mentioned Marion Uphill.
Yes.
And if people excuse me, I succeeded Mrs. Mann in the district, but I'll come back to that. So what I'm going to do is hop around and just some things that have come to mind as I was watching this, and that's certainly nostalgic for me. Now, okay, what was I going to say? Oh, Marion Uphill. I talked to Marion Uphill about a week ago to tell him about this meeting. And Marion Uphill, if you don't know him, was president of Pierce College. And who started that college? Iowa Alice Mann at the beginning. The adult classes that we had, we kept going, and I'll get back to that after a bit. But he worked very closely with Mrs. Mann, and she with him, and of course with Huckloff, and also with me later on when I was superintendent. And he's ill though, or he's down anyway, so he couldn't get up. But he, I know he'd say hello to any of you who knew him, and he's a wonderful fellow. And since I mentioned the high school, Fort Steilacoom High School, which has nothing to do with Clover Park now because the state has taken it over under the new organization where it's a state college. But the Voltech College was very much Clover Park. It was started by Clover Park, and Mrs. Mann had a lot to do with that. And Fred Miner was the administrator for that college. And Fred passed away shortly, I suppose about 10 years ago now or more. But anyway, so I've had a lot to do with the beginnings, with the laying the groundwork, of course, for what came later. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. May I, Sarah? I grew up on out at a place called Willachet. You hear now Willachet Bay. Well, I lived between the bay and the hills and so on and so forth, on a little farm out there. And the place didn't have very many schools. Gig Harbor had a school, that was too far away, et cetera, and I don't know what other schools there were. There was one at Vaughan, I know. But I'm speaking now of high school. And so the people at Willachet had to find other places to go to school, just like the kids out here did. And I would catch a ferry and hitch a ride to the ferry, and then up over to Tittle Beach, and then to Stadium High School. That was a good school. Stadium. Are there any stadium lights?
Yes, yes.
Well, that's right. Yeah, well, you can see it was a good school.
Yes, it was a good school.
And I was there in the 20s. And one evening, as I was getting ready to leave, it was a pretty good sized school. was then, is now. And I noticed a small rig, a small bus picking up kids down off one of the basement doors. And I asked somebody who they were. I thought it was kind of strange. I guess I was looking for a ride if there was a possibility. But they said, oh, they're from the Lakes District. Well, that didn't mean much to me. But they were going to Stadium High School from out here. And I was coming from the Washington side to Stadium High School, and I thought it was, well, I could see why I should come, but I didn't know that anybody else had a right to come. But nevertheless, that's what I did. I finished there, and I just hop, skip, and jump to along about 1931. In 1931, I went out to a place called Fife, to the elementary school out there. I picked up 2 years of normal, so I could teach. And well, I was there. I was at Fife 10 years. And through a set of circumstances that are important only in the way they ended up, I became deputy county superintendent of schools. And we had the county superintendent mentioned before. And at that time, the county superintendent was a more important position than it is now. In fact, it's been eliminated in a way now. But I was, about 2 years later, the fellow who was superintendent decided he didn't like it anymore, so he left. And I was promoted into the job of county superintendent. And a young squirt. But about that time, the consolidations began to occur. And Clovert Park was a key district in the consolidations. It was the first one to really get started. And Harold Gray, high school principal for so many years, I imagine some of you know or remember Harold Gray.
Very well.
And
I was the victim of Harold. I'm perhaps younger than many here. I'm 60. I graduated from Clover Park in 1959.
oh, all right. Well, he enters into the scene there. These people, I mentioned these schools. I mentioned Oppel at the college, Minor at the vocational college, and others were Ida Alice Mann products. She was kind of the mom, queen mother of Clover Park district. And Carl, I don't know whether you worked closely with Ida Mann or not, but
not a lot, but I did have all the grandchildren. I had 5 grandchildren of Ida Alice Mann. I had the 2 Poinsett children, John and Joel. I had Katie Shaw's children, David, Lizette, and Robin. So I mean, but I was supposed to associate it to the extent that she was alive and active right at that time. So we met, she'd come to school and I'd see her. And so it was a time, I was vice principal in 59.
What was the name of that skinny little man that wasn't very nice, who was the deputy?
Pardon?
Harold Gray.